Welcome back to the podcast, Catch It, A New Perception. My name is Ketuk. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And thank you for doing what you do to be able to change who you are. Because some of the content that I get for this podcast comes from interacting with all of you. And some of you personally, and some of you through maybe some text, and some in sacred circles, and some just on comments. And you remind me of who I am and what it is that I can do to help change me. And I don't say it in a selfish way when I say that this podcast is about changing me. I have work to do in this lifetime to change who I am, to change how I see myself, to continue to leave the self-deception behind that I didn't know was there. Please take the time to share this on your social media or with your family, friends. Share it with anyone that you think might benefit, or someone that might get something out of it, someone that might be able to think or feel different by listening to an episode of this podcast. And maybe take the time to listen to some other episodes of this that you haven't heard yet. And I always appreciate the comments and appreciate the interaction I can have with you. Another thing that's influenced me very much with the content of this podcast specifically and in my life is music. And I spoke of that as, I believe it was last season, I did episodes of lines from songs. And when I throw them in the future, I take a line from a song and I'm going to make an episode about that particular line. I may not talk about it being from a song, because I think it's the content and where it takes me that's more important than where it came from, because I may see it different. Just that one line may carry me to a place to get to know my higher self, or maybe carry me to a place where I'm emotionally more stable than I've ever been, or carry me to a place that I never would have imagined. And it only takes that one line, that one sentence, those couple of sentences, that paragraph, that takes me to a new place. And I'm looking forward to that. As I often talk about, I have much to learn in this lifetime. And what I'm here to do is to concern myself with what it is that I can learn rather than what I can teach. And I don't say it out of selfishness. I do say it out of self-care. And I say it because I don't need my ego on top of everything, any type of egoism on top of something saying, oh, I'm here to teach you. I'm going to be your teacher. I'm going to, whatever terminology you may use. I don't need that egoism in my life. What I need to be able to do is find a way to be right-sized. I've worked on this consistently for a period of time, to find a way to be able to be right. Excuse me. To be right-sized. And I say this because when my ego gets in the way, it doesn't help anyone. And when I talk down about myself in any fashion, or think down, or feel like I'm not enough, it doesn't help anyone. The most help, if I'm ever to help anyone, is to realize I'm right-sized. I'm just like you. In so many ways, we are so much alike. I shed tears and I talk about being emotionally sensitive sometimes when I do. And I've talked on this podcast that I will probably do this more in the future than what I have up to this point. You've seen it very little up to this point. And it's not because I want to hide. I do want to be authentic. It's because it doesn't come out. And it's not necessarily the best format to be crying so hard I can't speak. So there's different reasons why I may choose to not get to that place. And more recently, there has been things revealed to me that I was not conscious of. The self-deception that I live with, obviously, I don't know about it. That's why it's self-deception. Other people may or may not see the truth. One example I'll use is I thought I was healthy physically. I think that I eat pretty decent. I am pretty healthy in certain ways. And I had cancer before I knew I did. So I wasn't as healthy as I thought I was physically. Therefore, I was living with self-deception. One example, just trying to relate to, give you an example of what it is that I'm trying to relate to as a whole when it comes to self-deception, because I can't see it. I don't know what I don't know. And I'm good with that, because the more that's revealed, the more that I do know. I do not want to live with a lot of self-deception. I have unveiled very much over the last 35 years of getting to know my higher self. I have unveiled self-deception in so many aspects of my life. I do my very best to not use absolutes on this podcast or in my life as a whole. You get a lot of the way that I am authentic because I don't want to use absolutes in my life. The reason I don't curse on this podcast is because I don't curse in my daily life. If I did, you'd probably see more of it. I'm certainly never going to do it for effect. If you see or hear me do it, it's not common. So I will attempt to be authentic. And as I speak about this, I think about the tears that I shed, the comments that have been made, how I use the term being emotionally sensitive, even though I know being sensitive could mean something else, like being acutely aware. I will see certain people and I know certain things, and I'm acutely aware. I can feel energy maybe. I don't know how to describe it. There's just certain things, and it's like, okay, someone mentioned something, it doesn't surprise me at all. Like I was almost there. Makes sense to me. So I'm sensitive in that sense of being aware also. And I thought often when I go to tears, it's about being sensitive. I had the opportunity recently to visit a stadium, a football stadium by myself. My favorite NFL team. I went to see them. I went by myself. It was kind of a long day. I've been living with a lot of fatigue, and it's something I wanted to do before I start chemo. And I was in tears, standing in the stadium, looking up at the sky. Tears began to come. Obviously not the first time I've stood in that stadium with tears in my eyes. Never out of sadness of my team losing. That happens. That's what it is. I didn't have the consciousness until that moment when it came. And the tears started to run down my face. And I realized the majority of the time the tears come. Now, I've been in ceremony and I remember talking about it. And someone said to me, and I was conducting the ceremony at the time, and I do some ancient ceremonies in the way of the Buffalo people, and I speak in general terms to the best of my ability. Some of you I have been specific with, and maybe at times on this podcast I've been specific about it in different episodes. And I am conducting this ceremony behind the bucket, and I was talking about the tears, how they come. And I have no shame with it. I have no problem with it. I really don't care who sees me cry. I'm good. And someone said, "You cry a lot in here." And if that means at times every other ceremony, every few ceremonies, maybe a couple in a row, I don't know what a lot is to someone else. Doesn't matter at all. Maybe this person that said it doesn't cry every year. The tears come. And they're genuine, they're authentic, and I just let them be. I let them pass, I encompass it, I move through it. And it's hard to describe tears of joy, I thought. And they're not tears of sadness. I don't know how to describe it if someone else doesn't feel what I feel. I sometimes don't know how to describe the way I feel. And I'm in my favorite sports stadium a week ago. And the tears come. And I realize they're tears of gratitude. I am grateful for my life. I am grateful for the breath of life in a way I cannot describe to you. I did not deserve this many days on this earth. Not the way I once treated people. I didn't deserve the life I've been gifted. At this moment, I feel gratitude I cannot convey. The majority of the time that the tears start, the majority of the time that I get choked up, they are tears of gratitude. I remember when my father was getting ready to take his long journey. His wife called me a few days earlier and told me, "Your dad's going to the hospital and he's not leaving." And I packed a bag. One of our kids came with. My wife came with. And I got to go see my father before he took his long journey. And when I sat in the hospital with him, the tears started. And one of the reasons I had tears at that time is because I was grateful that I got to watch my father take his long journey back home. He got to return back to the Star Nation before I did. And from a soul's point of view, I believe I owe that to my parents. I should get to send them on their long journey. And those were tears of gratitude. That my life didn't end suddenly because of the way that I was living. And my father have to bury me. I got to bury my father. And I hope I get to bury my mother and that she doesn't bury me. So when I speak of tears of gratitude, it may not be in a way that you understand or a way that you see it. And I don't expect other people to see the world I do. I don't expect them not to. I was speaking with someone early this morning, and I told them I would never say to someone or about someone that they were gifted cancer. I cannot see the world through their eyes. I know that I have been. Do the tears of gratitude come from that? Not yet. Wait until I'm able to let go of all of it and I'm on the other side. They may come. Do I feel sorrow? I do not. Do I feel fortunate? I do. I know I have much to learn. And through the tears of gratitude that I will be able to shed in the future, I look forward to all I can learn from it and look forward to those tears that I will shed. Whether it's in front of you on this podcast or whether it's personally with you, as some of you may hold my hand or walk me through a journey in life, I look forward to it. Looking forward to next time. Live in harmony with and use the bounty of the land to bring kindness to the world. Dok Shao, okay?